I think the process is going to be driven through the Senate. There is a committee in the House that's doing very, very good work on this as well. But everyone understands with the filibuster, the need to have broader consensus to get anything through the Senate. And so I think that's the most important place to focus. Second, I think it's important at this stage not to get attached to any particular bill that's been introduced, not introduced because they've actually refrained from formally introducing a bill yet. There are a couple of drafts that have been generated. In particular, the committee that King, Klobuchar, and Durbin are on have actually released a draft. Now that's a Democratic draft, and that's not from the bipartisan group of senators yet. The bipartisan group of senators are working on putting together a draft, and then these two drafts will have to be knitted together ultimately in the Senate. But I think it's important to focus on the big principles and the urgency of getting something done. And not get locked into one version or another version, especially at this stage of the process. There is significant interest that across the aisle, people should have in this issue. So I see in some of the chats, people are concerned. Would Ted Cruz in Texas be someone who would be engaged on this? Maybe not, but there's another senator from Texas, John Cornyn, and he certainly understands these issues. He was a former judge. And so I think what's important is that members of Congress hear from constituents and from leaders that about the urgency of this issue, that the pressure just has to be kept on the issue. There is reason to believe something will happen ultimately. McConnell has said he understands that there's some serious issues that need to be looked at here. He's authorized the Republicans to negotiate, the same for Senator Schumer, who had been reluctant for a long time to authorize Democrats to participate in the process until the voting bills that they were more interested in definitively died off. And now the floor is open for this issue. But as I said, this is not the kind of issue where there's a lot of interest group lobbying and pressures. So it's really important to mobilize people with respect and authority in these states who have contacts and know these people and can press upon them the importance of addressing this issue.
And if I can jump in, it's important that both parties in the Senate be on board with the philosophy that Rick outlined. In the chat, I'm seeing a lot of discussion, appropriately so, about the Trump wing of the Republican Party perhaps not wanting reform. Leader McConnell has, he keeps quiet, but he's allowing the process to go forward, the bipartisan process that Rick is talking about. And there's some reason to be concerned that the Democrats in the Senate may be skittish of the kind of bipartisan set of principles that Rick has adopted. So it's important that both sides come together around the notion that, as Rick said, that the election be decided according to the rule of law, not according to political gamesmanship in anywhere in the states or in Congress. And so the way to have the rule of law settle who won the electoral votes of each state is to have a good bill come through Congress that sets the parameters, including the federal court provision that Rick talked about. And that's the best way to avoid the kind of violence that we're concerned about is to have clear, say, presidential elections are decided according to the rule of law, and to get agreement on that point. And I think both parties need to embrace that ahead of time.